So today I have the pleasure to have with me a longtime friend. We met when I arrived first in Indonesia in one of Gary Lafayette's events back in 2013. Since then, we always kept in contact. We met regularly in different events. Anytime there is a fashionable, there is a reputable, there is a must-be event, she is there. She probably knows half of Jakarta and 100% of people that you need to know, from politicians to diplomats, tycoons, entrepreneurs, fashion designers, you name it, she knows them. If you want to learn about networking in Indonesia, she's the right person to contact. Ibu Sari, hello. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. Such an honor, Reza.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You're, as I was telling you just previously, when I had this idea of this new series, the first person I thought about was you, because every time I open any device, social media, I always see you 2-3 times per day. You are doing networking everywhere in Indonesia. Sometimes you are in an embassy. The next moment you are in a fashion show, and then you are in. So I wanted to understand a little bit, to get to know you better, and especially for my audience to get to know you and also to know about Indonesia. So thank you so much to be here today with us.
Thank you.
First question, please introduce yourself. Who are you, Ibu Sari?
Oh, who am I? Oh, wow. Okay, I'm just an ordinary woman who love Indonesia, and I love Jakarta and Bali. So yes, my name is Sari Kusumaningrum. I was born in Medan, in Sumatra, but I was grew up in Medan and Jakarta. And yeah, I've been living in my country forever. I only studied in Holland only 2 years, and then coming back and starting my career in Jakarta. And since then, I never leave Jakarta.
What is your background?
Okay, I actually studied biology, but I never become the doctor. But after that, I worked in a luxury company, a cosmetic at the time, Elizabeth Arden, and then I moved to hospitality. I actually flashback. I studied in hotel school in Jakarta, and then moved to Holland, and then back to Jakarta, and started my work in a restaurant chain from Italy at the time, Alessandro Nannini, and then moved to restaurant chains from Vienna at the time. And then after that, I worked in a cosmetic company called Elizabeth Arden. And then after that, having my own company for only for 1 year and a half. And then after that, I started to work again with a media. And since then, I never left the media industry. So my last job actually was was in one of the largest media company in Indonesia. We are like number 2 largest. And then I was the editor-in-chief of Peak Magazine at the time. There is a luxury magazine only for men. So yeah, it was very good experience working in a media industry, because it's always something different. You never meet the same people. I travel a lot. I interview a lot of people, and I'm so happy that the first time that I got interviewed by Reza after pandemic. So thank you, Reza. Yeah. So yeah, that experience before was really make me believe that life, basically, you just need to know people. So now I started my own company since 2020, last year. So I'm going to have my own digital media company, and then I'm also now involved in the energy sector in Indonesia, because it's very booming. So we can talk about it later.
Okay, great. It's what kind of impact had the pandemic on you, on your business?
So yeah, so basically, okay, the pandemic has two impacts, personally and professionally. The personally, I have my own time. During the pandemic, I normally never at home, so I travel a lot every month. I'd say probably in Indonesia, I'm only 2 weeks. So during this pandemic, I can spend my time with myself. So I'm very grateful for that. But in terms of business, probably I was very lucky at that time in 2019 when Corona hit the world and also Indonesia. I was already, thinking about moving, from the company that I worked. So at the time, I realized that the luxury industry is no longer, probably is going slower. So therefore, I decided to leave. But in my job, in my business now, as a media content creator and also digital media personality, I believe that the media sector is not going down, so even actually going up. So what you're doing is actually good, Reza, because now a lot of people understand they always need information, not necessarily from TV or digital media, but it's also from YouTube, from social media. So that is really, really good in my industry. So there is no big impact, but is very good impact on the digital media sector.
Yeah.
I also believe, right, Reza, that for time being, during the pandemic, people are starting to have they don't have any optimism anymore. So by having this kind of show, or even like a Zoom online meeting or whatsoever, it is actually to boost their motivation. So for me, if people actually started to ask, okay, can you please share your experience, I definitely will say yes, because it is actually boosting also our energy level, right, during pandemic, because you don't have that something is not going on outside there, so we just share to people that actually need to hear, right?
Yeah.
Say that the network that we are doing now is through online, so it's through Zoom or Google Meets or Instagram Live. So I'm actually still doing it until now, so networking, it doesn't mean that I have to meet in person, but it's also networking in the form of having a connection with people through WhatsApp group. You comment on people's posting in social media, you're commenting in any WhatsApp group, articles whatsoever. So for me, there is another form of networking. So it's not necessarily we need to meet that person, right?
Yeah.
But also through online. So I think that is important.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my questions. I wanted to ask you what represent networking for you, and but let's go back in time and tell me a little bit about the how you started.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, it's really funny. The first time I start networking, because when I was younger, I like to party. So I network through parties. I remember at the beginning, I was at that time I worked for Elizabeth Arden. So, but before that, I worked in the restaurant industry, right? Hospitality. And then, if you are in a PR job in a restaurant, you need to meet people, but it's for work. But end of the day, I became very popular because I like to invite people to the restaurants. But after that, I make a lot of friends with the media people. So they interview me a lot at that time, for the magazine or newspaper, at the time it's not yet online. So yeah, after that, people like to know me, and then I was invited to all parties at from the embassy. And then I used to hang out at that time with Cinabar, is a restaurants and bar, small one at the Gani Jemat. So I managed every weekend, I managed to gather like 30 women, in that small bar. So that's why I become more popular, because I like to get together with my friends.
Yeah.
Just for fun, not necessarily to network, but just to hang out and get together. So yeah, my answer was because I like to party, I like to meet people. So that was the first time that I started to really know a lot of people because of that.
Okay. Okay. And
But,
if you have to give advice to somebody like me, who is in Indonesian or foreigner, no matter, but who just want to start networking, where should we start?
Okay, that is the thing. For me at that time, I like to I like to go to social events. I'm very social person. And then number two, I also attended a lot of business gathering. You know, in Indonesia, there is at that time was Eurochamp event, or there is any Masters Toast, you know, Toastmasters event. So I like to go to those kind of events. You know, socially, I like to go to you know, to restaurants with friends, and then after that, you know, professionally, I like to go to any chambers of commerce event. So that is the first time that we have to start. But now, because you know, it was like 25 years ago, you know, 20 years ago, it was very popular. But now, even easier. You know, you just need to go to the, you know, to the platform like Meetup. There is a platform, right? So you can actually meet people, and also socially, you can actually join all the social events like social clubs like bikers club, you know, jet ski club, or poker. People like to play pokers or tennis. So there is a lot of things that you can probably join. And then I remember at the time I joined the fitness first. Oh my God, I love it because it's all dancing, yoga, Pilates, and you always meet people.
And
So
it's
just
always
go
with
to
a
the
group.
gym, you know? Yeah. Or just join bikers club now these days, or join the, you know, if you like to walk, there is always a walking group to Sentul, you know, to Gunung Gelis, to Puncak. There are a lot of clubs, social clubs that you can join here. And oh, I remember this. There was the Internations as well.
International. I also subscribe, and I
That is
joined
also
some
good.
events there.
And then now I also just found out only last year in Facebook there is a expat, I think Indonesia expat or expats group. So you can just sign up and then join, and then after that you can post whatever if you're new. So that is in Facebook. You know.
But so okay, then where you find the energy, because networking is one part of your work. There is the other part of your work, which is after you have to I don't know, you have to manage your business, you have to do the other financial, you have to do the creative part. How first of all, how you find the time? Because now with the pandemic, it's I guess a little bit the networking is at home, so you don't lose your time in the traffic with the car and finding a parking and all these things. So now it's a little bit easier, but at the moment that you had this physical networking, how you find the time to do networking 2-3 times per day and then do your job?
Okay, normally that's what I call a to-do list priorities. You know, I prioritize in the morning. Normally I look at my agenda, what is going on today before COVID. So in the morning, I'm a very morning person. I get up very early. I look at my agenda, what is going on today. So normally my work starting between 8 until lunchtime. This is administration job, maybe emails or things like that. But all the creative that I need to do is normally happening between 9 to 12. Because I'm a multitasking woman, you know, so I can do a lot of things. But after that, I start normally people we will actually discuss later about that. So people in Indonesia, they like to meet not in the office. They like to meet outside for coffee, for breakfast, high tea. So I have to make spare time to do so. And this is a part of the investment that I'm actually putting. It's not only my time, but also my energy and my money, you know? So so that's why after 12, normally I started to go out, but in between, normally in my car, there is good internet connection, my laptop, everything is there, you know? So I work, because Jakarta is a heavy traffic all the time. So I work when I have a time, let's say 1 hour in the car. So I work again with my laptop or do coordination meeting through, WhatsApp group normally. So it's actually quite productive because the good thing about Indonesia, we can afford to pay the driver, right? It's not so expensive.
That's a good part. You can work in the car.
Also maybe, right? It's if you are the the beginner here, of course multitasking is good, but in my career for the past 20 years, I because I love what I'm doing. I love my job. So it's not like working. So whenever I meet, let's say I have to go to La Gallery Lafayette at the time. So I always manage to meet new people. I always manage to have new ideas for what is going to, we are going to do for our company or our magazine at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's always something when you meet people, ideas,
Yeah.
or it's always something.
Yeah, that's my ambivert comes out, is that to get out, it's like hell. But once I'm there,
you enjoy.
I enjoy a lot. In France, why you have so many terrace of a cafe and everybody's outside is because French people, they are capable. They like to sit on the terrace of a cafe with just a glass of wine at 6-7 o'clock in the afternoon and just watch people.
Watching people,
That's it. As easy as that. And that's I think that's where it comes from. It's like I just like to go to places and just watch people living.
Exactly.
To get inspiration, to get ideas, to get and to get to know people, to get to know the culture.
Yeah, I have a little secret, right? When I was younger, my secretary always say, "Oh, Mbak Sari, you have a lot of people want to see you, but I think I'm going to short this out. If it is not important, you don't need to meet." And I said, "No, wait. It's not like that. No matter what the background, whoever who wants to meet me, I want to meet them, even it's only half an hour." I said, "Why? Don't waste your time, because you have a lot of things to do and to a lot of people that you have to meet." And I said, "No, I want to meet them." So end of the day, I told her that whoever, even though they are, for instance, I always, when I was in Plaza Senayan, because the restaurant that I used to work actually based in Plaza Senayan. So I even talked to the security. I even talked to the cleaner from the toilet, because I always go to the ladies' room. So sometimes it's the same people actually work, right, at the same hours. So after that, I realized, maybe it's good to always talk to people, so you know what is in their mind, what is their expectation. So the same, like when people ask to meet me, I always say yes, because I believe in every brain of people, you always can get something, observe something good throughout that person. So
totally agree. Yeah. Okay, so just one last question about this part. Where is your current favorite place to go out and for networking or just to get out?
So at the moment, I don't really, because of COVID, right? I don't really go to the busy places. So if it is socially, I like to go and meet friends through dinner party at the house, or we go to the restaurants nearby, or places that are actually outside. So that is my favorite place at the moment. I like to go to still Louis and Koi or Pelataran, because it's outside. But for the business event, to tell you the truth, I don't really go. But if there is any embassy event, like normally ambassador invited me to their house, then I still go.
Yeah. Okay, good. So let's go to the second part of this interview. I don't like to call it interview. I feel it's more of a sharing session. What is specific about the Indonesian culture?
Actually, if you know that Indonesia, we have 300 group of ethnicity. We have 6 religion, Protestant, Catholicism, Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, and Confucianism. So with 300 ethnicity group, 6 religions, and then over 700,000 islands. So you imagine, do you think there is one culture? That's why our tagline is unity in diversity, because there is no, I think, according to what I see, there is no culture, because every culture is very different. But we have the same in common, that Indonesians are very friendly and polite, and they are kind.
Yes, that's really true.
To summarize.
I can witness that, and I approve totally.
And then also, if you are talking about, I don't say it's culture, but it's really something is very diverse, very very unique, yet Indonesians normally are very religious and spiritual.
Yes.
And then if you say about culture, we really put on family as #1 priority. The family values are very important. And then also I believe that the religious commitment is really important. If you are in Bali, the moment when somebody pass away or there is any hari raya, they will stop in, say, in Jakarta or in Sumatra. If there is any call for prayer, they stop. They go directly to to mosque or to pray, right? So there is religious commitment is probably a part of the culture, and the family value is very important for them.
Yeah.
Get together, they like to hang out. We call it in Javanese, mangan orang mangan, sing penting ngumpul. It means like even you don't have enough money to eat, you have together. So they like together. That's why for me, family values is very important here. That is the way you understand Indonesian culture. We enjoy eating. You don't need to make an appointment to go to people's house to eat. You just go there and then crush, like party crusher. That's it.
Yeah, and there's always something to eat.
Exactly. So you don't need to make an appointment and things like that. And also for me, because we love eating, it's because there is a value of the family. Family, normally we have a big families, right? One family has probably 3 until 5 children. So the mother always prepare for the food. And also what I see during the Hari Raya, Idul Fitri, that's why is the festivity is there. People like to get together to eat, but also they actually celebrate and they go to mosque before they eat, right? So that is a part of the culture. And what I see nowadays, Christianity also, like they also do the same. And then Hari Raya Imlek, Chinese New Year is the same. We celebrate it here. So basically, Indonesia, we celebrate everything. For instance, before you got married, you have the engagement. We do party. Wedding, we do party. And then when the baby born, we do something else. We all celebrate
when
everything.
When the baby is 1 year old, we get another party.
Exactly. Right. So that is a part of the culture of Indonesia. So we celebrate everything. And then after that, I also say this is very important. Indonesians are still very traditional. We still value all our ancestor belief, the traditional spiritual things in the family. And of course, there is probably a part of the tradition because I'm Javanese. So we always, I can say that my family is still traditional.
Yeah.
Even though my sisters and my brother, we live one in Australia, one in Germany, but still our traditional value is still very strong. Yeah. So what else? Maybe Indonesian like to make any performing arts. We love music, we love dancing, we like to like for instance in Bali the sculpture, we like paintings. But if you really see people here, we are very happy. We like to do something related to arts, performing arts or something else but related to art. So I think that the people have to understand that coming to Indonesia, it means that you have to make yourself comfortable with that situation. We are very friendly sometimes. Like in France, if you touch, they said, oh no. But now because of COVID, you don't really hugging or kissing anymore, right? But before, oh my God, people are there is no distance anymore. There is no boundaries. People are hugging, kissing, holding hands.
And what I like about Indonesia is exactly the performance part, where people, they like to play. I was very surprised when I arrived. We were working Gay Lafayette, and we were organizing very regularly events for the employees. So they could perform, they could create like dance, they could create like a theater or things like that, and they were like doing it with such a pleasure and such a they would put so much effort and so much passion inside it. You ask French people to do like this, never. It's like, oh my God, seriously, no. So
That's true.
yeah. And the second thing about the Indonesian, you said the religious part that you're celebrating our religions. That's a great thing, because there's so many, tanggal merah here,
Yeah,
so it's like every month you have at least 1 or 2 days of off, because of one of the
yeah,
religion that are celebrated are constitutionally in
exactly.
it's in the law.
Yeah, so imagine if you are expat here. I remembered one of my friends at the time told me, "My goodness, Sari, in Jakarta, in Indonesia, there is always public holiday celebrating everything." And I said, "Oh yeah, you will get used to it, and maybe you're going to miss it when you leave my country."
Talking about religion and traditions, usually when we talk about religion and traditions, we think about macho culture.
Yeah,
Let's talk.
because you're
Let's
also Muslim, you know. Yeah,
Yes. So how it works in Indonesia, the equality of chances between women and men. How did you live it in your work? Yeah, tell us about this part. I think it's very interesting.
yeah. So actually, in Indonesia, because of this Kartini, you know, she was the one, the heroine, you know, the woman, the first woman who ever think that women should have the emancipation movement at the time. So Kartini, if it is not because of her, I cannot be like what I am right now. So if you really see gender equality, yeah, we are still okay. But in the big corporation, like my experience before, women still we don't have the same voice as men still. So if you really see, maybe in Indonesia, I think that is not possible in woman become a president, because
Mm.
according to Islam, man has to be the leader, not a woman in the house,
Yeah.
right? So in the big corporation is the same. Like in my previous jobs, I always the one and only woman in the director level.
Mm.
And then I was minority. I'm not Chinese. I'm not Christian,
Mm.
and I am, I am the one and only woman.
Mm.
So still, yeah, we again I have to adapt with those macho culture in our country, in our big corporation, because I think we are not there yet as in the Western countries. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that
it's not still yet at the level. Even if you look at the Western countries,
yeah,
you will not find any equality. Still, women are fighting for equality.
yes,
There's still difference of 20-30% in the salary,
yeah,
same position, salary range.
yeah,
But what I think about Indonesia is that still, for a country of this number of population, and women are still very inspiring for me, like people like you. I think that in Indonesian culture, in terms of women's, is really, really advanced.
yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, I just read the report on the small medium enterprises. So surprisingly, all the e-commerce based digital based commerce actually led by women. So most of the players in, let's say, all the marketplace mostly owned by women. So I was wondering, wow, that is amazing. It's mostly women actually initiated all the business from home, because for working from home. So they initiated all the UKM, or small medium enterprises business, from home, and actually led by women. So
Yeah,
it's recently I read the report. Yeah.
yeah, I believe you. There's
So yeah, women. Yeah, women hold a very important role in the family.
yeah,
These days.
yeah.
And then, for instance, I remember my cleaners. Two of them actually say, "Oh yeah, now I have to work because my husband doesn't want to work anymore." So he became the husband, the house husband.
Yes.
I cannot generalize, right? Indonesian men probably are not so creative than Indonesian women. that we have to be really open about it. We have to accept it, because that is the fact that the women in Indonesia probably more, populate mostly in Indonesia, maybe women are more than men. So we have no choice, So
I think everywhere in the world, women are more creative than men anyways.
oh, thank God. Okay.
So talk. Yeah. I want to ask you about mistakes. There's so many times I made so many mistakes with Indonesians. I mean, you can talk about anything, I think, but you have to be careful of how deep you go in. So tell us about the mistake that we should not, as a foreigner first, but also between Indonesian, I guess there are some things that we have to be careful also.
Okay, there is I don't know whether you are if you heard of this bule bubbles. Bule bubbles means all the facilities or the benefit that expats or foreigners got when they are in Indonesia. Normally they have drivers, they have maids, babysitter, they get paid very high, so they go to the posh shopping mall, and then ended up they like to get drunk in the bars, right? So that is something that I always see people foreigners who actually come to Indonesia at the first time, they don't understand that concept. So okay, they think that they are king because I live in the most expensive whatever house in Menteng or in Pondok Indah, so they don't understand that end of the day bule bubbles will lead them to nothing. All right, so like for instance, I remember one of my friends in Bali, he came to me, he's actually Russian, and he told me, Sari, I did a mistake when the first time I arrived in Bali. I started to make friends with the police officers. So end of the day, when he didn't want to give any more money to this police, he started to blackmail and then put drugs in his car. So I'm thinking, what did you do before? I said, because I thought that it's good to have a police friend. But the moment when he started to, get closer, he wants everything. He wants his money more, his whatever benefit that he wants from my friend, Russian friend. So I thought, okay, maybe that is something that you don't need to do. Just be friend, yes, but not too close to those officers, right? So my advice for the new foreigners here is good to have Indonesian friends, but not official. Like officers. It's good to know them, but not as good friends, because they are going to, push you to give whatever they want. And at the end of the day, you have nothing, to offer, because that is actually happening in Bali until now. A lot of foreigners or Russians in Bali, they got blackmail from the officers. So don't get closer to them. And never ever bribe them, Otherwise, just go to a lawyer so they can help you, things like that. And then probably for me, as I mentioned to you, bule bubbles, just treat them like, that's normal, that you are like, you live in France or in your country, don't always think that you are the king or the queen here, I remember, I met several friends here. Every time they like to complain. So end of the day, I said, dude, why don't you just go back to your country, man? Right? So
true.
That's the mistake that most foreigners actually do. They think they have everything, so they complain everything. So people like us, sometimes I cannot stand. So I said, okay, why don't you just go back to your country?
Yeah, it's true. Well, the excuse with the French people is that they always complain. So I had several, we were several French people, of course, back in Gary Lafayette, and few Indonesian came to see me and says, Pareza, you have to explain to me why French people always complain, even when we agree with them. I said, we have a word in France, which is oui, mais, which is yes, but.
Okay.
This is a word by itself. You always say yes, but. In French, you always argue. Even if you agree with somebody, You always argue. That's in our nature, you know. So
Okay.
so it's just like that. We are just like that. We need to argue on everything.
That's something, right?
Yeah.
Which in Indonesia, our culture is not like that. We say yes, but we didn't do it. Can you do it? Okay, yes, I'll do it, Bu. But they never do it. See,
Yeah.
that is another thing, right?
Yeah.
And also maybe another common mistake, like I remember one of my German friends, very on time, German. It's okay, Sari, we will meet at 3 o'clock in my office. Okay, so I arrived at 3 o'clock. And then of course the other two business partners of his didn't show up until probably 4 o'clock. So he was like, I don't understand here. They say 3 o'clock agree, but you show up, but not these two. I said, yeah, come on, we have a jam karet, rubber watch. So you
Jump
have to
cut it.
accept that. So jam karet is a very common trait here, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So you need to understand. For me, because I'm probably used to have all friends from embassy, from wherever I travel a lot, also overseas. So I'm very punctual. But those people here, if you are expat, you need to understand that not Indonesians like me,
Yeah.
They said, oh maaf mbak, soalnya tadi macet, is a traffic jam. Okay, if you know, maybe you can leave like 1 hour before, right? So
Yeah.
that's it. That is the common mistake that you guys never accepted, and you become very grumpy. And then after that, it actually ruin all the mood, and then people don't like you because of that.
Yeah, it's so true. So to explain jam karet means elastic time for the foreigners who are
It's a
listening.
rubber watch, yeah.
Rubber watch, exactly. So basically, if you are not 20 to 30 minutes late, you are probably not Indonesian.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's only for the past 5 years. Yeah, I think Indonesia or Jakarta actually has been changed. So a lot of, even if you are meeting with the ministry or the government officials, they are quite on time. So I'm very happy about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
They're no longer
and also I think the digitalization since COVID also made that more real, because now the Zoom meetings, they always start on time. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, exactly.
So people, they don't have the excuse of machete anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it's important, yeah, for all the new expat. If they come here, they have, even if you are not happy, show your face that you are still friendly.
Yeah.
Don't make your faces.
Yeah, I think with Indonesian, humility is one of the key attitudes to have, to always be humble.
It's also, I remember I have a own experience. I drove myself at the time, and then the police actually caught me that I actually go through the traffic light. And then after that, they said, Preet! I said, oh, shit. Okay. So I opened the window and I said, oh, sorry, Bapa. It's my mistake. Please, but I'm in a hurry. I need to go to the president's office. But I made it up, of course. I'm sorry, Bapa. And then with a smile, I said, oh, are you from the media? I said, yeah, Pa. So I just show my ID card, right? The media ID card. I said, oh, okay. So who are you meeting? The spokesperson to the president. Who? Mr. And so and so. Of course, I know him. And then after that, I said, oh, okay. At that time, next time, please, yeah, be careful. But thank you, Papa, with my eyes blinking. That's it. You see? So.
And you get on your way. That's great. That's great. So beside, what else as a advice can you give to a foreigner, a bule who wants to come to Indonesia?
One thing that is important is to adapt with the water. I remember most of my friends who live here for the first 2-3 months, they got problem with the water and they have diarrhea, things like that. So my advice on that, yeah, if you go to Indonesia, first you need to start to eat probably outside, don't cook at home, so you will not used to the water.
Yeah,
it's very important. Yeah, but administrative thing is also important, but rather than that, you need to get used to our weather, our water, the air. Don't be so hygiene.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
end of the day you will get diarrhea. Everybody who come here at the first time, they got diarrhea badly.
Yeah, systematically. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it is probably one thing that is very, very important.
Yeah, and if I may add, don't drug. Here is like the worst thing to do is to use drugs. This is,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's
drugs and also yeah, yeah, you're right. But probably drug is definitely no go, right? But it's also getting drunk in the public place is also no go.
yeah,
People don't respect you anymore,
yeah,
especially if you are high profile or the CEO of a company. When when they see you and you're, because here everybody like to go to clubs,
yeah,
and then suddenly you see, oh, Pak Reza getting drunk and then pick up girls, for instance. There
yeah,
is no way, man. Your reputation is really like going down.
yeah,
That is definitely.
yeah. So the Indonesian market, where do you think that is going? Because Indonesia is one of the fastest growing countries in the world, and all the
Right.
opportunities are here. There's a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah.
Where how you see this evolution and where you think that is going?
Yeah. So if you know that Indonesia, we have 270 million people, yeah. With 270 million people, we have average age is 30 years old. So it means that we have young demographic. And then 60% are below 40 years old, Reza. It means what? You have that young people, it is gonna be the largest labor market in ASEAN. So it means Indonesia is going to get there if we have a very good education. We are healthy, we have a good infrastructure, we are healthy. And then now what I can see, that's why Gojek and Tokopedia, they just merged because all the e-commerce and digital economy based economy. So my suggestion also, since we are in Indonesia, we are all very young population. If you want to create a business, or to invest, go to the e-commerce and digital economy based industry. This definitely will go to marketplace like Tokopedia. You sell, let's say, for instance, food, so it is going to work. And then the second one is, of course, healthcare. Is still very very major, healthcare and pharmaceutical. You create something that actually for your good for your health. And then manufacturing, of course. There is again related to the government issues, that a lot of tax incentive that is not good, infrastructure is not good. So if you want to invest in that manufacturing and infrastructure.
Yeah,
But if you want to start like small business, go to education, online education. um, food is very booming at the moment. um, Fast moving consumer goods, like if you really see in Indonesia now, people don't buy any more expensive stuff, but they are now thinking about, oh, what is good for my kids, stuff for the kids. Let's say the towel, bed sheet, all the things for your children. Before, we always buy something that is, very luxurious, but not now. They go to the first necessity things for your family and children, right? So invest in that fast moving consumer goods. And then education online, for instance, like making this kind of educational things through YouTube or podcast is very booming at the moment. If you want to do podcast, actually it's very good. What else? There's actually 5 things that you need to do, like healthcare, and then e-commerce and digital based economy, and then manufacturing, and then infrastructure. But of course, infrastructure has to be involving a lot of government, government relations. Yeah. But rather than that, maybe as us as an entrepreneur, go to the niche market, go only for the young, what young people actually needed. Or
yeah,
maybe into energy. Energy now, if you really see in Jakarta, after Jokowi has mentioned about the battery, that, or maybe he believed that Tesla is going to invest, it actually is not true. Tesla now going to India instead. So now, since Jokowi actually talked about that, so everybody now thinking about having the renewable energy, solar panel. But now, I've heard that people are starting to think about the electric car. So in the next 5 or 10 years, there is no more SPBU, so there will be the electric things to charge your car, to charge your motorcycle. So go to that direction.
yeah.
Yeah, so we are heading there quite good, you know, Reza, because we are very young population, young demographic. Everybody actually hungry to learn about every single thing, not only digital, but about, you know, energy, about whatever skills, maybe cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, gold, you know. So every young people now is what I see, they are very eager to learn more about something different.
Yeah, and what is good about the Indonesian is that they are very entrepreneurial oriented.
Exactly.
Usually they don't like to be employee. If they have a choice between an employee job
Correct.
and a small business like a warkop or warung or something like that, they prefer to have that
Yeah.
small business. They prefer, especially now with the digitalization after COVID, more and more people, they like to open like store in
Yeah.
Tokopedia, and they
Yeah.
have their own business. And that's I think that mindset of entrepreneurship is really important in the culture and the growth of the
Yeah.
country. Yeah.
Yeah. And also what I see now, a lot of freelancing jobs actually happening in Java Island. The business that I have, four of them, they don't live here. They live in Malang, they live in Surabaya, they live in anywhere, but not in Jakarta. So I realized, oh yeah, these people are very hardworking people and they are very skillful. But of course, the salary is, you know, freelance salary. You know, it's not like full-time job when you are in the office, right?
Mm.
So that freelancing or outsourcing is actually getting, you know, actually better now
Yeah.
in Indonesia,
Yeah.
because like young people, they like to create, they like to produce, and then people like us, we need to actually help them to grow, right? That's why I have this business that I'm actually trying to do now, actually to empower them to become more, you know, skillful. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have people like you to help businesses to grow, and people who are not really into because you have the experience of media, you have the experience of networking, and you have the network. So I think it's very good to help
yeah, and
freelancers
also,
or
right,
entrepreneurs.
yeah, and also now when you really see between social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, if you really see in LinkedIn, there's really a lot of good members,
Mm.
but they don't have enough content,
Mm.
because there is not so much like in Facebook or Instagram. So that's why now I encourage them, you know, why don't you just put a lot of nice content in LinkedIn instead, because you can find almost everything in LinkedIn. And the number two that I see, the Indonesia really evolved a lot in the past years, is because Indonesians now starting, I mean, the younger generation starting to understand what is the value of money, you know.
Yeah.
So they know exactly, okay, I want to go to Labuan Bajo. My budget is, let's say, 8 million. So what I can get,
Mm.
they want to have out of it. So if I really see that, I see the niche. So if you want to go to the middle, go to this market. If you want to go to luxury, go to this younger demographic, for instance. So you know exactly what to do if you know what niche that you are going to enter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have one last question. What is your
Mhm.
favorite Indonesian food?
Oh my God.
That's difficult question for Indonesian. Yeah, you have
Yeah, I
so
know.
many.
Oh my God, there are so many. But my favorite food is actually from Java. You know, I like to go to, let's say, the Sundanese food or the Javanese. You know, I like to eat all the sayur with because most of the Sundanese food, they have like fried gurami, tauge goreng, tauge, whatever, you know, with the vegetable. Because I don't eat meat much. So I like to eat Indonesian food, or Vietnamese food is my favorite.
Yeah.
But Indonesian, nasi Padang, not really. But
No?
mostly Sundanese,
Sundanese.
Japanese and Sundanese. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think it's thank you very much. Thank you for this discussion. It was really, really nice to meet you. I'll put your Instagram and you have a website or no?
I have saricurly.com.
Okay, so I'll put saricurly.com. I'll put your
Yeah.
Instagram in the comment section below.
Mhm.
Ibu Sari, thank you again so much for your time. It was a pleasure to discuss with you.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for having me anyway, Reza.
And hope to see you very, very soon physically to have a drink or to discuss again about everything that's happening here.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hope to see you
you.
soon, Reza.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.